Let us offer our consecration to the Lord. Lord, we offer up to you this day, this Thursday after Ash Wednesday. We ask that we may experience the fruits of our Ash Wednesday and our Lenten experience, that throughout this time we may grow closer to you, that we may embrace your wisdom, and that we may become people who are signs of the presence of Christ. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Well, today is exactly what I just said. It is the Thursday after Ash Wednesday. It's kind of a unique title for a day because usually we know we just finished, for example, last week we finished the 6th week of Ordinary Time, and then we began the 7th week that we went into Ash Wednesday. But this little period here is the Thursday after Ash Wednesday, tomorrow is the Friday after Ash Wednesday, and the next day is the Saturday after Ash Wednesday. That's what they're called. And then we enter into the first Sunday of Lent. So it's kind of a unique time here, that at least time-wise, what it stands for. So we're at that early stage of getting into Lent. Now, if you haven't come up with a Lenten discipline, don't turn around and say, oh, too late, Ash Wednesday's passed, I can't do it. You can start your Lenten discipline anytime, but this is a really good time to see what works and what does not. And remember, as you heard my program last year, it's all about prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So this is a good time to see what works and what does not. So consider that and experience your Lenten practices in ways that you can put them together. You can still work on it, that they will bear fruit when Easter comes. So today, it comes from, first reading comes to us from Deuteronomy. I haven't reached this point in Dennis Prager's book, The Rational Bible. It doesn't matter, because obviously the whole point is, what is this book saying to us in general? Today's first reading comes to us from the 30th chapter of Deuteronomy, and it is Moses speaking. Now, what's happening is that Israel, which is the people of God that God has chosen, that he has led out of slavery and into leading into the promised land. Remember, Moses does not enter the promised land. So the people are about to go in, and without Moses, and Moses is giving them a choice. And the choice is to either follow the commandments of the Lord, in which they will be blessed, or they can turn away from the commandments of the Lord, in which they will enter into disaster. Now, there's something important for us to understand, because a lot of people who don't understand what's really happening here will just reject this. They'll say, I don't believe in God. I don't need to believe in God. All of this stuff. I believe in science. I believe in whatever. And a true scientist will never say this. Understand this. And St. Augustine taught this. Our understanding of who we are and who God is and what our world is and everything else expands over time. So, how people understood their world back in the time of Moses is different than how people understand their world today. But the principles are all the same. Maybe a good example I can give, and I thought of this today. I said, well, this might work. And I wasn't even thinking of it for the radio show. I want you to think about this. In the Council of Trent, this fascinated me when I found this out. In the Council of Trent, they describe the earth as, and I've told you this before, as being surrounded, as the sun revolving around the earth, which we know it's the other way around. But at that time, that's what they believed. Right, the sun and the moon revolve around the earth. Well, we know the moon does, but the sun does not. We know the earth revolves around the sun. So they didn't understand that at that time. Now, any historian will tell you, well, some people believe that. Yes, that's right. But what was the official teaching at the time? It was not that. And that's, by the way, what the whole Galileo thing was all about, because Galileo was Copernicus' assistant. And Copernicus discovered that the sun revolved around the earth, not the earth. No, I did it backwards. Remember that guy said that? That was good. That the earth revolves around the sun. I caught myself. And not the sun revolves around the earth. So Copernicus had discovered that. And by the way, Copernicus realized this was so earth-shattering that he knew that he would have to suffer terribly if he announced it. So he announced it on his deathbed. So he could just kind of say this. No one's going to give him any hard time because he's dead. And who was his assistant? Galileo. So Galileo was the one who actually, he became the lightning rod to all of this. So Galileo was the one who put this forth, and the church got all upset, and you're wrong, and all that, and because the message at the time was that we were the center of the universe. So if we turned around and said that we revolve around the sun, not the sun revolves around us, we're no longer the center of the universe. And that just had these huge repercussions in such a way that it was intense. And it went about 200 years before people finally accepted, I guess this is, enough people finally accepted this. So we see that this was an issue at the time. But that's because our ability to understand this reality hadn't reached the point yet where it is today. Well, it's the same thing that we see in today's reading. Moses is speaking to the people in a way that they will understand this. We are reading this account in a whole different way because we understand something deeper than they would understand at the time. We'll be back on the other side of the break. You're listening to St. Anthony Overnight. Have you told anyone else about St. Anthony Overnight from St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, here on WEZE in the early morning and through CatholicAudiomedia.com?
You realize we are a different Catholic program because we are not speaking just to Catholics.
We speak to ex-Catholics, atheists, evangelicals, and people from all different religious and non-religious backgrounds.
We do this from a Catholic perspective.
So you're not going to hear what you hear on other programs because we have a different mission serving Jesus Christ.
Tell your friends what we do here is different, and it is so that we all may experience Jesus, who sets us all free. And don't forget our own website, CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. You check out our website. You can check out the program for the past week. You can see our archive of interviews is over there, too. You can see the phone number. You can leave a message for us over there. You can see a way to contact us, donate to us, all that stuff. And Substack, how to connect to our Substack. All of that's over there at CatholicAudiomedia.com. And it connects us to St. Anthony Parish in Allston, which is where the source of this radio show, stanthonyalston.org. That's stanthonyalston.org. So what is happening is Moses is communicating to the people that God has given them this profound wisdom. That if they follow this wisdom, because then they'll be following divine wisdom, they will experience the truth of Christ. Okay, and they will experience the truth of God, the truth that the Lord laid out for them, because it is divine wisdom, and divine wisdom is greater than human wisdom. It doesn't mean we reject human wisdom, but we allow divine wisdom to influence human wisdom. That's what we do. Now, it is thousands of years later, and our understanding of who we are has expanded. So let me go back to what I was saying about that whole thing with Galileo. Even though the church teaching is incorrect about the sun revolving around the earth, it's actually the earth revolves around the sun, the principles of divine wisdom are still there, and they're still to a depth, as God tells us, that is still being plumbed, so which that we always will. So we can still come to a deeper understanding of divine wisdom, even if it doesn't match our science at the time, because science is part of human wisdom, which we are called to embrace too, but the divine wisdom teaches us the deeper thing. So remember, science has no human element to it. You know, maybe one of the reasons for this whole coronavirus issue that we had, besides the fact all the technical and scientific, we won't go there, but maybe the reason why the Lord allowed us to see that is we can see that if we just follow the science without bringing the human factor in, then it can create real problems for humanity. We need to also seek the greater wisdom, and the greater wisdom is the divine. We embrace the divine wisdom and we embrace the human wisdom. Remember, when someone says follow the science, they're saying follow this computer model. Because, they have all different models and stuff, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're saying follow this computer model. Well, remember, the computer model has no humanity to it. It's why it's a computer model. There's no humanity to it. And the Lord is showing us our humanity and how to live in the world as human beings that he created, connected to the God who we worship. That's so important there. So when we look at these readings, or this reading from Deuteronomy, it's always make your choice. Do you want to choose human wisdom? Human wisdom is going to be obsolete with just about every generation. Or you want to seek divine wisdom, which is never obsolete, and you're never going to reach the depth of it, but you're also going to grow in it to a deeper level. This is why this is so important. So keep that in mind. And Moses is saying to the people, make your choice. You want to choose human wisdom or divine wisdom? If you choose divine wisdom over human wisdom, you will find great things. If you choose human wisdom instead of divine wisdom, you will get lost. We'll talk more tomorrow. Have a blessed day.
I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you would like to support our program, please consider a donation to St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. There are several ways to consider this. One is to purchase any of our merchandise, which you can find at the shopping tab at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. There are coffee mugs there. There's also my latest book, Encounter Christ in Your Humanity, all of which you can find at the shopping tab at CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can also donate to the show directly through either the Donate tab, also at CatholicAudiomedia.com, or by sending a donation through the U.S. Postal Service with your questions and comments at 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. That's St. Anthony Parish, 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. Finally, the best way you can support our parish is to attend Mass on Sundays at 10 o'clock and be a part of our parish. We thank you for any support you would like to give to St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, the sponsoring parish for this media outreach to Catholics and other Christians in the WROL, WEZE, and podcast listening audience. In Cristo vivimos.